you can't even make up how beautiful it is this morning. It's a 0 mile per hour wind morning, and as you can see, it's just incredibly quiet. It's gorgeous out here. Got some beautiful symmetry going on there on the water. Gorgeous. What we're doing this morning is we're gonna go pan fishing. We're on one of my favorite little pan fishing lakes. Just good populations of good bluegill and good crappie. It is September and I wanna do my survey of it this morning. That's what I call it because I only ever get up here maybe once or twice a year. And I like to see how the panfish are growing. As long as the cloud cover and fog kind of holds on, that will help us. We will be able to keep our kayak right where we want it, and we can really cast right to where we want to cast to with no drift, and we can get a really accurate cast and get in those strike zones easily. The problem with the lack of wind is you could hear a pin drop, and so can the fish, so they could be spooky. We're gonna have to probably stay off of those fish fairly far, just kind of dependent on the clarity. It's too dark for me to really get a good bead on the clarity, so we're gonna have to check that out later, but stay tuned. Let's go look for some panfish and see what we can find out. Seriously, folks, look how beautiful that is. It's like what you dream of. You're like, is this real? It's so gorgeous out this morning. It's so peaceful, so quiet. We're gonna start our fishing right at this big tree. That's what I always like to do. See if those crappie or bluegill are suspended off this tree. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fan cast through here. I love fan casting this lake. Just go searching for those fish. We have a ultralight rod set up with 4-pound line and a 32nd ounce jig head, and then we have 2-pound line and a 1/48 ounce jig head, and I think between the two we'll be able to find some panfish. The 32nd ounce jig head has a 2 1/4 inch plastic on it, and the 2-pound line has a 1.25 inch plastic on it. So we'll just see what produces, and let's wet a line. Let it fall right along that wood, just a couple seconds. Reel as slow as you can. We're gonna have to find the depth of those fish. That's the name of the game. Once you find the depth, you can usually do fairly well. But you gotta find them first. Gotta find those fish. Oh my gosh, that's a big crappie. That is a beautiful crappie. Good grief, man. Oh my gosh, folks, that is a 13 or 14 inch black. They are getting bigger in here. All right, we completed our survey. That is a mega black crappie. That is a beaut. That's the biggest one I've ever caught out here. That is a beautiful, beautiful crappie. Wow. Gorgeous fish. All right, folks, we'll get that big one back. Look how broad he is. That's a beautiful fish. Wow. Okay. All right, folks, we've been here 15 minutes. Caught a big crappie, 2 other good ones, and a nice bluegill. And I gotta tell you, I'm kind of glad I'm still sick because that was what put me on this lake this morning. I just wanted to fish, no hassle, because I'm tired and worn out and my muscles are achy and I'm still trying to come back from this illness. All that aside, the specs are just ultra light. Guys, we're going ultra light. That's what we always do for bluegill and crappie. We got 4 and 2-pound line on, ultralight rods, ultralight reels, and we're just casting out to them, trying to find their depth. That is the name of the game for me and panfish, is just finding depth, and that ultralight stuff will help you adjust your depths easier, in my opinion. A 48 ounce jig head and a 32nd ounce jig head does not sink fast at all. And when you put plastic on there, sinks even slower. So you can get that jig rolling right under the surface. And right now that is crucial. That lure can't be more than 2 feet under the surface for me to get bit during these low light hours. Like I said, as the day progresses and the sun comes up and burns that fog off, those fish are gonna likely go down lower. But for these low light hours, those fish are definitely on the upper 2 feet of the water column. I don't think they're any deeper. I let it sink 3 feet, no bites, adjusted to right under the surface, started getting bit immediately, ended up with 4 fish within 15 minutes. So let's get back out there, see what else we can find. But dang, I can like go home already because got the biggest crappie I've ever caught out of here, and we're just getting started. So stay tuned. Let's see what else is going down. Makes me wonder if those are bluegill. Oh my God, these crappie are out of their minds today. Wow, look at them go. Oh my gosh, look at this black crappie. What in the world? All right, folks, we are really keying in on these fish, and boy, they are nothing to turn your nose up at. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is just so fun, and I'm catching them the way I love to catch them. Fan casting is my favorite way to catch fish too, especially crappie. It's just so easy when it works. Oh my gosh, these fish are beautiful. Clarity's great. It's just a bit of stain. And what I'm doing to really get these fish to bite consistently is I'm getting that right up against the log. Right up against it. It has to hit that wood almost. What you can do is you can imagine how those bigger limbs are kind of forking down into the main part of that tree. And those fish will sit up where that V is. See, that's not even close enough. You need to be on the wood. All right, folks, here's one of the bigger ones. These are definitely the bigger averages I've ever caught out of here. Just a beautiful crappie. That thing is a stud. What a beast. Oh my gosh. Giant crappie. Came out from the tree. Golly. What a boss. All right, folks, I think this is gonna be the last fish if I get it in here. I thought it only fitting to have the last fish be where I caught the first fish off the big tree. It has been an absolutely hammer morning of fishing. I'm gonna call it early, honestly, because it's been so good. This has been the average. This has been the average, or bigger. Very few smaller than this. Insane morning. We're gonna pack it up, go home, hang out with the family, and then we'll meet you guys in the basement and we'll talk about the specs of the day. In summary, we fished ultralight tackle all morning and would generally keep that jig right under the surface of the water. I was fishing the first foot or two of the water column, generally hovering over 15 feet of water, and those fish would hit that pattern all morning long. The only time I would ever fish deeper than 2 feet is if the bite would slow. But what I would do is I would follow the profile of that tree down into the water. I'd find where a limb would meet the trunk, and I would kind of throw in that confluence of where the limb meets the trunk of that tree. And those fish would generally congregate kind of right in those elbows of those trees. Last thing I want to mention is the color chartreuse. Now I will say that I think those fish would have hit any color based on that clarity, but chartreuse was the deal that morning. What I did was I put on a 2¼ inch chartreuse swim bait, and I was starting to get bit and bit well and often. Problem with the 2¼ inch was that they weren't engulfing it. I needed a better hit. I moved down to the 1.25 inch Bobby Garland itty bit swimmer, pure chartreuse, and that is how I finished my morning. I never took that color off. I think any bright or really dark color would have worked all morning. It's a great place to start. Like I said, it's the brightest in the box, and it was a bright sunshiny day once that fog burned off, and it shimmers in that light. It catches the sunlight that's going down into that water, and those fish can really key in on it. The thing is that it's just so loud that it might be a deterrent as well. They'll key in on it, but they won't bite it. But that was not the case that morning, and I crushed them on chartreuse. This was a fun one, I think more or less because it was such a wildly beautiful morning. I literally stopped and checked myself and just took it all in before I even fished, because it's rare that you have a quiet, beautiful morning like that. So really appreciated that beautiful morning on the water. It was exceptional. Y'all take care. Have a good one.